Hi guys, Victor from Tech Heads here. Before we get started today, I would like to announce once again that our Patreon is officially live, but this time with some extra features. When you sign up, you officially become a producer of the show. This means that you will get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content such as our extensive show notes. On top of this, you will also have access to the episodes 4 days earlier than everybody else. If this sounds good to you, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/techheads.
4, 3,
now
2,
on with the show.
1. So, here we go.
How you all feel tonight?
All right, I'll remember to talk into the microphone this time. Remember that time I was like, all right, Tech Heads back again, but my microphone was not even near me. Anyway, okay. Alrighty, yeah. Well, what's going on, all you Razzlekhan heads out there? Well, welcome to Tech Heads. Thank you for coming to the show. Yeah. Oh, Anna, do you know what I mean by Razzlekhan? Are you aware of this?
Of what?
Razzlekhan.
I've never heard of it. What is that?
Okay, I'm sure you've heard of her. So, you know about the Bitcoin couple that like they stole like billions. Yeah. So like her rapper name is Razzlekhan.
Oh.
Yeah. So, have you seen any of the videos of her actually rapping and stuff?
No, I think I heard a few weeks ago about how the government sees all the coins and all that stuff, but I didn't even know she was a rapper, so this is news to me.
Oh, I'm okay. Just give me like 2 seconds. I got to pull this up. This is crazy. So, okay, while I'm pulling it up,
yeah.
Oops. Okay, so basically, in case you guys aren't aware of like this Bitcoin couple, I guess that's what they're calling them. I don't really remember what they're calling them, but
yeah. So
the Justice Department announced its largest financial seizure ever, involving a bizarre cryptocurrency case. So, so 6 years ago, hackers stole $71 million of Bitcoin from Bitfinex, but in today's dollars, it'd be worth 4.5 billion USD, and the funds were pilfered through more than 2,000 unauthorized transactions. And the couple, it's Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife Heather Morgan, aka Razzlekhan, who I was talking about. They were arrested this month in Manhattan and caught thanks to blockchain. Okay, let me see. Oh my gosh, this is so insane. So she's like this super duper cringy woman that like you would never expect her to be like who she is, because she's clearly super smart. She was like an economist. She wrote for Forbes. She was capable of, stealing billions of dollars. So obviously her and her husband together have something going on. But oh my gosh, where's just one? Oh, geez. Let me see.
You about something, you know what? I really, really, really hate nail stuff. For the longest time, I only painted one nail, my razzle nail, right? So, along with these Ukrainian sewer rocks that I've saved, I have these razzle nails that are just like they're layers of nail painted over and over and over that have peeled off over time.
Like, I wish I had.
She looks so young.
Yeah, she is really young. Oh, here's let's see, where's the dancing one? I want to see one of her rapping, because she is like the worst rapper. I can't tell if it's good or bad, but it's like the weirdest stuff I've ever seen.
Guilty, I'm motherfucking filthy. Rent boys on payroll cause I'm so damn wealthy. Big serving dick to stay healthy. Fuck what you heard about Rip Van Winkle, Sprinkles.
Like what? You stole billions of dollars?
I know, right?
Geez.
So are they in prison now, or I'm sure that they're gonna go through go to trial and all that stuff.
The article I just referred to, it showed a sketch of them in court, so I'm sure that's in the works and that they're going to for sure. So, yeah, we'll see. So that happened, and let's see. What else did they do? So I heard what they were doing was like they were buying, in order to like launder it, they basically were trying to be careful. They were doing their best, but you know, people like to track everything on the blockchain. So I forget what the technical name for it was, but they were basically going to like do these transactions and like switch accounts over and over again and like make a circle in a way and make it kind of not untraceable but less traceable, because obviously everything's traceable on the blockchain. So it was unsuccessful because somebody saw the pattern immediately. They're like, oh, they're doing this pattern. So didn't really work in their favor. But it's just so weird. Like I said, she was like a really smart cookie for sure. She went to I think she went to USC, and she became like a full-blown professional economist. She started her own like marketing company and became a millionaire like at 22 or maybe slightly older. And then and she was a regular writer for Forbes, so a lot under the hood for her for sure. And then the guy, he was a self-proclaimed entrepreneur. I'm sure he did something, but I just don't know too much. He seemed a little boring, so I didn't really want to look too hard into him. But but oh my gosh, like just seeing her on I don't know, YouTube or TikTok or whatever, like you would never be like, she has so much money.
Right.
She pulled off the largest financial seizure ever. Like you would never ever think that, which I think is just mind blowing that happened. By the time you guys hear this, I feel like it is slightly old news, unfortunately. But hey, this is happening for us pretty recently, and we're still talking about it. So there you go.
I mean, I was gonna say that like her personality on social media could also just be like a fake persona where she dumbs herself down, because I mean, I think that for her to like pull this off for this long and not get found out, you know, I mean, I'm sure that the investigation that eventually led into the seizure and all that stuff, that probably lasted a long time, but still probably someone who's very smart just, you know, chose to go down a different path.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, actually, because I saw another video of her where she was doing a lecture on social engineering, and she it clearly knows all about it, so she knows how to manipulate people and get like the insider info on like, you know, business deals, or like, you know, find the password of whatever's happening just by talking to the guy and doing whatever. And in that professional lecture where she was talking about social engineering, she started rapping. And like that was just like, is she social engineering us during a social engineering lecture? Like, is it double social engineering? I think you're definitely onto something. I think that's totally correct, because nobody's going to take her seriously at all. Right. But now that's
the whole point, though, right? Like, if you're, I think you're, you know, I speak like as myself, you know, I think I could even fall for that, because maybe you warm up to someone who seems a bit silly and innocent. You know, you would never think that they would be like a mastermind who's like registering every single piece of information that you're telling them, and they could just be flat out lying about everything. So yeah, you just gotta be, you know, careful, unfortunately, with like the people that you deal with nowadays, because you really don't know. Like, it's not that hard, you know, I mean, how many times have we seen that? How many times do people still have to be reminded to not use password 123 as their passwords for things, you know? So it's like, it's probably not that difficult to like social engineering, you know, you're dealing with humans. It's not even like you need the technical ability to bypass, you know, like, you know, firewalls or whatever, use all these like, you know, elaborate hacking tools, but you're just like getting information that are told to you by people that trust you, but they shouldn't. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, how can you not trust somebody like Razzlekhan though? If you see like she's
right.
some of her rap is like centered around like crypto and stuff, and like they're looking back on it is really funny because I guess some of the lyrics are explicitly saying what they did. They're like, oh, we laundered money with Bitcoin. Like, it's very straight up. And we're like, oh, they actually told us they've been doing this for a long time. So
Right.
yeah,
I'm so glad that you right. No, yeah, absolutely. I want to like do some more reading into to find out, like the details. 'Cause, I mean, I think I read like a few headlines here and there. I probably have not gone through like, everything that's out there about them, but it seems like a very intriguing story. And it's funny that you brought this up because I just started rewatching or watching season 3 of Ozark, and the
Nice.
guy is an accountant who launders money, so it's interesting to see how he's a likable character. I mean, maybe not other people are going to agree, but I mean, I'm also a Jason Bateman fan, but he's a likable character because he's so smart, and like he's laundering millions, tens of millions of dollars for a cartel. And it just shows how like just even the quick decision making. I'm sure that this girl has it too, like the ability to like think on her feet. And then I mean, how could you not? Like like they were behind this whole, scheme. So it's interesting like to see, like how these people operate. Just unfortunate that, maybe they could be doing for something that was more beneficial instead of laundering money. Like,
Yeah.
So oh well.
Well, maybe
Right.
they'll recruit them for like catching other people doing some similar sounding crimes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you have going on this weekend? Anything crazy?
No, I think honestly the highlight of my weekend was probably going to Trader Joe's. I'm trying to take it easy this one because it's been a very busy week with work, very fast paced. But I think that's really good because, I feel like I'm feeling more secure like in the role and the picking up, like my like responsibilities and just like the flow of the job itself. So definitely taking it easy this weekend, just like catching up on the show. Gonna try and do some reading tomorrow. So yeah, and she has a second job. So, I'm left alone with Augie a whole lot now. So the house is quiet. I can do whatever I want, but not going out or doing anything crazy. I went out like early today to run some errands, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go back home and hang out with my dog and like prep for the podcast and whatever because the weather is really, it wasn't that nice this morning. It's really nice now, but yeah, I just needed, like a little bit of like I wanted to take it easy this weekend. Last weekend it was kind of like a fast-paced one for us, but I didn't want that to be the case this time. I actually wanted to catch up on sleep and stuff. So not eventful for us. How about you?
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, so I have a super long weekend actually. I'm off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I have a 5-day weekend starting today. So I'm pretty stoked on that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have a couple things lined up for the weekend, so pretty stoked on that. But I just remembered that I recorded this crazy thing that happened outside of my apartment this morning, and so basically, I caught it in the middle, so I really don't know why anybody's yelling, but what appears to be a homeless person is maybe been bothering somebody walking on the sidewalk, and that person just was not having it that day. So this is the video. Like, you can't really see what's going on, but
oh my goodness.
yeah, so she's saying, "Don't you come near me," but she's getting closer to the guy.
What?
And she's holding pepper spray, just like,
So the guy is homeless or she is?
The guy's homeless. So, he ends it all with saying, "Love you."
Nice. I love people. I love comebacks like that. They're the best because it just takes the other person off even more.
Yeah. She had her arms outstretched. She's like, "Don't come near me." But then she started fast walking directly to him, but saying, "Don't come near me." And I don't even know what was happening. I heard her say something like, "You shouldn't steal. You're ruining this city." You know, the whole shebang. God. So,
right.
But yeah, it was a great start to the morning for sure. I was like, hell yeah, action already.
Damn.
It's like 7 a.m. So
that was just today.
Yeah, that was literally this morning.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, what do you got to say about those people, right? The homeless dude. I don't know if he was doing something to like antagonize the situation, but damn, it's funny because I just remembered like. I don't know when, but there was a case, like a road rage case that ended in a fatality in Jacksonville. But I think they released the call because this woman got cut off by the other driver, and she called 911 to report him. And the operator was trying to calm her down and be like, disengage, like let him leave. Just leave it. Don't stop your car. The police can come to where you are and then you can discuss it with them. Stop driving. But she kept going at it and was like frantically crying on the phone and everything. Eventually the guy crashed. She caused the crash and he died. But she's like, he's making me do this. And I'm like, what? I mean, insane. Just flat out insane.
Jeez.
Crazy. Yeah.
And people think people in Portland are crazy. Like, I'm from Daytona Beach. I think the people in Daytona were crazier, to be honest. So this place gets quite a bit of hate, but I've seen some nasty stuff walking around Daytona, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be scary, I'm sure.
Yeah, sometimes you never know what anybody's gonna do. But speaking of not knowing what anyone's gonna do, we can talk about this thing called the blockchain if you want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I know we've done like at least one episode where we maybe defined the blockchain or like what a blockchain is and how it works and how it interacts with like other cryptocurrencies. But I kind of just want to pretend that we haven't done that in case there's people who haven't heard those episodes. And so basically we wanted to like cover milestones and like important parts of time where the blockchain just kind of made another breakthrough and like changed and just some cool things that have happened since its inception. So before we do that though, I want to do one of my famous analogies that I like to dumb things down with. So okay, how do I start this? So let's open it up with a quick analogy, like I said, and just explain the blockchain. So imagine a bank vault where you have your own little safety deposit box and you have like stuff in it, like diamonds or money or bonds, like whatever you put in there. Just like you have a little safety deposit box, you can put your things in there. And of course, not anyone can really just open it because you have the key to get into it. Like nobody else has the key to get in. So in Bitcoin, you have digital keys that are basically super long string passwords, and they give you access to this wallet, which unlocks billions of other Bitcoin addresses. And each one is a virtual safety deposit box, if you want to look at it that way, that only you can open with your key. And I heard that there's more of those than like atoms in the universe or something, like on the blockchain.
Really?
Which is mind-blowing. Yeah.
That's insane.
Here's like the really interesting part though. So on this like quote unquote safety deposit box, the doors on them are transparent, so you can see exactly how much is in the box and send them from one box to another, which would be a transaction, or like in this case a Bitcoin transaction. And the Bitcoin can only exist in these boxes, so it can't be copied, and it can't leave the vault. And the real kicker is that this isn't a Wells Fargo or a Chase Bank. Nobody actually owns the vault, and you don't need permission to even use it. You can just use it if you want to.
Right.
So that's like a dumbed down explanation of like a blockchain. Yeah, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around at first. It's basically just a place where transactions and things of that nature with crypto are documented, but they're documented digitally, and everything can be traced back because it's all publicly backed, because instead of one server checking all of it, there's tons of miners all around the world that are running it at the same time. So if one of like the computers or whatever, for instance, says that this transaction happened for this amount of money, but then all the other ones say like, oh no, it was actually this amount of money, then we know exactly which one was the correct one, because everything is being backed up by itself, and it's all connected by a chain, hence the blockchain. So
interesting. Wow, that's a really good way of explaining it.
Yeah, I saw it this morning, and I was like, yep, I got to talk about that. So yeah.
For sure.
Do you have, let's see, we might even have the same note on this. So I wanted to start from 1991, the first concept of, okay, how about you take this one away then? You probably have much more thorough notes on it, and I'll chime in and be like, yeah, that's true.
I have more of like an infographic. So
Cool,
I think
cool.
that I guess not to get into that much detail, but hey, we're talking about like big milestones anyway. So from what I saw back in 1991 was when the first blockchain was created by two guys, Stuart Haber and Scott Stornetta. And yeah, I didn't even know that was like a thing this early on. I mean, it's already been 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I feel like, the biggest association with blockchain is Bitcoin, but that's not the beginning of blockchain, is not the same thing as, the beginning of Bitcoin, because Satoshi Nakamoto then in 2009 released a Bitcoin paper. So it had already been 18 years, since the blockchain concept had already been around. But yeah, I mean, that as far as like the origin story of the blockchain itself, it dates back to 1991 by those two guys.
And the crazy part I found about that is that that they basically came up with this concept, and then they had a patent for it, but the patent actually lapsed in 2004 because nobody found a use for it or cared about it. They didn't think it was important. And here we are now, 2022? Yeah. 2022. And it's like all everybody talks about now. So it's just crazy how quickly time changes like that. That it was literally like basically an expired patent. They're like, nah, this is nothing we'll ever use. But then it just like, what? Yeah, like 2008. Yeah, like 4 years later is when quickly gained traction, and people were like, this is the next big thing.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder what these two guys are up to. Maybe I can do some follow up on that, for next episode, just to see like what happened with them, and like what do they think, about if they're still around. What do they think about, the Bitcoin blockchain and all of the other blockchains that we have now, compared to like what they initially, proposed they would be. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's interesting to know how long, it's been in the making, like this whole, blockchain revolution, essentially. So yeah, then I think after, Satoshi released the paper, which no one knows who Satoshi is, if he's still alive. Allegedly there was, I don't know if he was an engineer in California. There was someone, there have been a couple of people registered with that name, Satoshi Nakamoto, like actual private citizens. but no one has really stepped up other than that one Australian guy that keeps saying he's the one that invented Bitcoin, but no one really believes him.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's still like unknown whether this person, because he's the one that holds the most number of Bitcoins, but no one knows, where, like, if he's still alive or if he's ever going to, to come out and say that he's the one that created blockchain. Or what's up with that, but yeah, in 2009, that's when he wrote the paper. And then the first Bitcoin, like from what I saw, the first Bitcoin purchase of 10,000 Bitcoins took place in 2010. So that was like one of the biggest, I don't know if it's like one of the biggest transactions to date. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, because it's already been like 12 years since that. But yeah, apparently that was a big deal for the Bitcoin blockchain, because just like based on supply and demand, I'm sure that it helped drive up the price. So it started to really get some traction.
So I have here that the first official Bitcoin transaction was 10 Bitcoin from Satoshi Nakamoto to Hal Finney, who
okay.
So I guess a year before that 10,000 Bitcoin transaction
in 2009.
Oh wait,
okay.
So the 10,000 one was 2009 or 10?
10.
Okay, yeah. So this was a year before then.
Gotcha.
So Hal Finney, if my notes will load. So he introduced a system called reusable proof of work, which proof of work is what do we call it? Like the protocol for Bitcoin? Or
yeah.
I
think that's right.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to that episode, basically like the more computer power you have to solve these problems, the more you get rewarded in Bitcoin, which people think is super unfair. So then they came up with proof of stake. So that's a whole other episode that we've already done. But this was basically the basis of that idea. He was a computer scientist and cryptographic activist, and it was a significant early step in the history of cryptocurrencies. And the RPOW or RPOW system, I guess is what they call it, worked by receiving a non-exchangeable or a non-fungible hash cash-based proof of work token in return, created an RSA signed token that further could be transferred from person to person. So I guess this is pre-implementing it into a decentralized blockchain, if that makes sense. I think that's kind of my understanding of it, or distributed. Yeah. Gotcha. And then I guess they further along the way, I guess they improved the design so that it adds blocks to the initial chain without requiring them to be signed by trusted parties.
Interesting.
But then 2013 comes along, and crazy guy named Vitalik Buterin, who I guess he was like the editor for like Crypto Magazine or something like that. Like he was an editor, right? Or like maybe he was like super impactful on the Bitcoin world. So he argued that there needed to be a scripting language for building decentralized apps or dApps on this Bitcoin blockchain. But since nobody in the community could like come to an agreement, basically he did the most logical thing that anybody would do and start their own blockchain. So he came up with Ethereum, which is like the second most popular crypto. But Ethereum features the scripting functionality called smart contracts, which we've also done an episode on, which is a great topic. And we're probably going to do a couple more because smart contracts are really cool. They're basically just programs that or scripts that are, like they're deployed and executed on the Ethereum blockchain and can make a transaction if certain conditions are met, basically like rule-based, kind of like any other scripting language. And the language is called Solidity. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, we've done a whole episode. But in case you don't want to go back, that's like a super quick definition of like the importance of smart contracts and like why so many people back Ethereum right behind Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's just the OG. I think that's why it has such a big following. It was just like the first idea of it, but I personally think Ethereum is way ahead of Bitcoin as far as like everything else, because all the big decentralized apps are run on the Ethereum blockchain anyway. Like you just can't do any of that stuff with Bitcoin. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in addition to what you said, like 2013 was a big year because the Ethereum white paper came out, and then also the valuation of Bitcoin reached $1 billion. So the Bitcoin marketplace, at least. So, that was already, I mean, the first time I heard about Bitcoin was in 2017 because, it was all over the news. And I was doing the coding boot camp. So, I started to get more in that, and going, trying to, I had more of an interest in, tech news and all that stuff. But clearly it had already been around for several years. And the only thing, that was the driving the price was also, the demand and the bet that it was eventually going to really be a big thing. And then in 2014, the blockchain technology R3 was formed, and it forms consortium of over 40 legacy financial companies for implementing blockchain technology. And the Ethereum blockchain was funded by crowd sales. So that was another, that's where I think Ethereum, it was already coming up right behind Bitcoin. I think it was already, it was still pretty affordable, where you could buy a lot, with not as much money. I mean, I don't know the price of, either of the coins at that time, but yeah, it was another big year for, for Ethereum, because I feel like it was, I mean, it's interesting, the relationship between the two. Because like you said, I think that, Vitalik's intent, at least in my opinion, was to take the good things about the Bitcoin blockchain and then, make his own blockchain where, like you said, you can run apps in it's proof of state rather than proof of work. So trying to be more energy efficient. But yeah, it's cool that shortly after that, in 2015 was when the Ethereum Genesis block was created. So that's when, I think since then, Ethereum has definitely gone through the roof. It's, worth a lot of money now. But yeah, that was, another interesting phase about the history of blockchain technology, those, couple of years between 2010 and 2015. I feel like that was very active, and where it started to get more of a support probably in that industry to really, make a push for it, because I mean, now it seems like it's very mainstream, and there are a lot of enhancements, there's a lot of investments into those technologies now too. But it's cool to know that, just not even 10 years ago, this whole thing was just starting out, really. So
yeah. I hadn't even heard of Ethereum until way later, but yeah, I think I was on the same page. 2017 is when I'd first encountered Bitcoin and was getting a little interested in it, because I had friends who were early in on it, and I hope they're still in it. I really don't know. I haven't really asked, but yeah, I just remembered when it was, I think 8,000 maybe, or 10,000. They're we're at a bar and they're like, it's climbing. I'm like, okay, you freaking nerds. Who cares? But oh my gosh, if they still have it now and they got in then, that is awesome. So hoping it continues like that. So I actually want to bring up this crazy story. So also in 2013, so one of the big selling points with crypto is the ability to remain super anonymous, and you have your privacy, you have your anonymity, it's a lot harder to track than, like if you pay for drugs with your credit card, obviously. So of course crypto is like a criminal's dream. And back in 2013 there was this thing called the Silk Road. Do you remember that or heard of it? Yeah. You probably bought a ton of things on there, right?
Right.
That's where you got Augie.
No. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like he was impossible to find until this one guy came along. Augie cost me a pretty penny, a pretty Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, exactly.
Just kidding.
Right. So the Silk Road was a black market site where users could buy and sell illegal drugs with Bitcoin. It had a million users before the FBI showed up, and they shut up to this guy's house. They shut it down and snatched his laptop that was used to build it. So the man running it, Ross Ulrich, was sent to prison for life. And at that point, when he went to prison, people thought oh, that was the end of it, whatever. And that would be what it is in most cases. So it's weird though with this one because there were a couple of federal agents who actually looted the Bitcoin that the government had obtained from the Silk Road case. So that was quickly discovered because they were unable to hide these transactions from the blockchain since everything that goes down in it is public. So and what's even better is that someone got tipped off that this might be happening with only one agent, but then just by looking at the blockchain, it was super clear that there were actually two people involved. So they were able to figure out it's these two agents that literally stole the laptop. So they tried to sell the Bitcoin and
So the agents, oh my gosh, that is just so stupid.
Yeah, they got super busted because they were trying to sell it and take the USD from the Bitcoin.
Oh my god!
I know, super ironic.
Fucking dumbasses. Seriously, yeah.
It was 2013. They didn't know, but it's just so funny. They're we're gonna bust this guy, and then they're doing the same thing. They're just not selling drugs. I don't know.
Yeah. The funny thing is, what do they think? It was unicorn money. No one knows what happens in the blockchain. I mean, it just seems so stupid.
Yeah, they went on what's that site called? Ethernet, or what's it called? The one where you can look at all the transactions on the Ethereum blockchain.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember what it's called. They probably just went on there that doesn't add up, or that's really suspicious, or yeah. That it's funny because it can nip the government in the butt, and when's the last time we've been able to do that? Be oh, the government did this, we caught them red-handed, and these people are going to jail for it. So those agents went to jail.
Nice, good.
Yeah, sometimes I love justice. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, as far as important milestones go, I don't have any after that. I just thought that was a really cool story. But what about you?
Well, I feel I was totally out of this whole world of technology and blockchain and all of that. I really the boot camp, once I started it, it was so transformative in my life because I was focused on just my job at the hospital at the time, and I was coming from a life sciences background, or in college, so it was never something that I feel I would have found unless I had that change of heart and wanted to pursue a different career path. So everything I learned in that year, in 2017, it wasn't just web web development with the boot camp and all that. It was cool being part of the the conversations that that were happening at the time, and the big events of that year. I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been 5 years already, but it's still it shows how I feel it opened my mind to a lot of things, and yeah, Bitcoin has been something that I always pay attention to. It is an investment that I feel we've, clearly established that we believe in. But Yeah, it was, it's been very cool to see how it really, like, we could be, living in an era where something as big as, like, the internet, when it first started, like in the 90s, like when it was just starting out, and it would be, cool. It's interesting to see that, so much has happened with blockchain technology for the past couple years, and, like how far we can really take it, because I feel like the technology advancements of, like this, like since the early 90s to now, just have been so revolutionary. I mean, if you think about it, we have the internet, we have, blockchain, we have the iPhone. I mean, it's just, like everything, like there's so many advancements that it's hard to like keep up with everything, but I feel like
Hmm.
blockchain is something that will, it will really like change the way that we do things.
Yeah.
And there's a big push for it. So yeah, now I guess it's just, kind of like trying to keep up with it. That's why, like, we, I feel like it's cool that we continue talking about this topic. It's important, at least for me.
It's important for me too. It kind of is reminiscent of that video where like Bill Gates, he was on who was it? Uh oh my gosh, he was on like one of those, late night talk show things,
Well,
and
yeah, yeah.
I forget the guy's
Was a
name.
Letterman?
Yeah, Letterman. And the guy's
Okay.
he was like, so like explain the internet to me. Like, what is the internet? Like, they had never used it or heard of it. It was just like
Right.
literally just like how we're talking about blockchain. Like, what is blockchain? Like, it's gonna be that, you know?
Right.
That's like
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it in my mind, at least. I don't know. I'm sure you're probably on the same page as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that it's like there's a really funny video of I think it was like either Good Morning America, which is a show that has been on for the longest time, where they were talking about the email, just like you said, so they asked someone, okay, what is an email? Like apparently you have like, your name and then a little A symbol, with a circle around it, and then so what do you do with that? You just like send messages to each other? And they're like, yeah, I don't know about that. I was like, geez. And this is like, the age where people were still using landlines and fax machines. So
Exactly. Yeah.
obviously, an email, no one would even like they wouldn't even like comprehend, like could even comprehend what it could be. So yeah, it's really, really cool to see how much things have changed, since then, and how life has gotten way simpler in some ways, but also, more complicated in other ways. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of complications, EV batteries could complicate recovery of burning cargo ship with thousands of cars. Have you heard about this?
Oh my gosh. Yes, the cargo ship that went up in flames.
Yeah, with like
Insane.
Porsches,
Yeah.
Volkswagens, Bentleys,
Yeah.
Lamborghinis.
Uh,
Jeez.
I know that I saw that on Reddit, I think yesterday, and the one of the first comments that really made me laugh was like, "Man, the people at the insurance company must be like running around pulling their hairs out right now." And I
Yeah.
was like, I mean, seriously, like, how does that happen still? I mean, mechanical error, sure, like like these some of these things are unpredictable, but
Yeah.
you would think, that was a huge loss for
Hmm.
someone or some company. So,
So this is like the most recent update we have on it. So the batteries of an unknown number of electric vehicles caught fire on the ship.
oh wow,
Yeah.
really?
It's unclear at
What
this
should be
time.
Teslas?
I know. Oh
No.
my god. They didn't list Tesla, but that's such a good point.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't know, because all of these cars, they were coming from Germany, probably, because they're all under Volkswagen, right? Aren't they? Aren't Bentleys?
Oh, that sounds right. Well, I don't. Maybe Bentleys are now. I know that Lamborghinis are
Yeah.
owned by like the VW
What about
group, and
Porsche?
then
Is
I
is
think
Porsche
Porsche.
also?
I think Porsche too. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
this
think
is this was a
so.
VW shipment then. So probably no Teslas. But yeah, could you imagine like it was a Tesla, but then Tesla, I don't know, put so much money to this journalist, like, yo, like just don't mention Teslas.
Keep it keep it quiet. Yeah,
Keep it quiet,
seriously.
please. Jeez.
Damn. I know. Let's see what gives with the ship didn't go down though, right? Like it didn't sink.
Oh, I think it's still up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
according to this, it's still up. So.
right. I mean, as if the car supply chain wasn't stressed enough. I mean, this will definitely
It's literally
make
worse
I mean,
now.
it would suck for the person like the people who bought those cars and the eagerly waiting because I mean I went to I don't have that kind of money to buy a Porsche or a Lamborghini, but I went to a
But a
Honda
Bentley.
dealership and they told me not a Bentley, and they told me I would have to wait like a couple weeks or maybe like even a few months for a Honda. So can you imagine like these people with a Lamborghini? It must suck.
I'm still waiting on my car. I've been waiting like.
Oh, right, yeah.
Couple weeks, and it could be a couple more weeks. So, yeah, It's been a much longer wait than was originally anticipated. So,
right.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining. I still have a car, so I'm fine. But,
right.
Yeah, it's just affecting like literally everything that we interact with every day. So, it's been pretty crazy times.
It sure has, and also. Like there's an upcoming, Federal Reserve meeting, the March meeting, where they're going to like reassess the whole thing because of inflation. But like rates have already gone up. So like if you're planning on buying a house, which is what we're trying to explore right now, it's going to be more expensive, which is it's great.
Yeah, but you might not have such a high price for the house, though.
Yeah. Well, the one thing is I don't know like what this year, it still has to offer. Honestly, we just have to wait and see. But I'm kind of hoping that, it does like slow things down a bit because it has been just it flat out impossible, to get a house because of like the competitive market. And that is one of the reasons was I think that triggered it was that the interest rate was at its lowest, it has been for the longest time because the Fed is trying to was trying to keep the economy going through all of 2020 and then 2021. But now they haven't, I think, officially raised the rates, but I don't know, but there was an impact, that was seen like this week. So I know there's a big Federal Reserve March meeting coming up, and that's where they're going to decide what they're going to do, which is most likely going to involve, a rate increase. But right now, when I was reading this week, apparently home loans are back to like the rates that they were in the summer of 2019. So yeah, it's, trying to like cope with the insane prices of everything. And I don't know. I guess we just have to like monitor things and see how it's going to work out. I mean, essentially we're doing what we can, to like eventually buy a house, but I'm not too concerned. You just gotta, keep an eye out. I feel like that's why it's another, I feel like this is sort of like, an extension of what we were talking about before. Like there were so many things before I got into the tech field that I never paid attention to. But I feel like now I'm more and more open to like learning a little bit about everything and just keeping my eye out for things, because information is so accessible for us. And that's the awesome, I think that's the benefit of living at this day and age is you're like, you have access to so much information. So yeah, I, when I find out like these interesting, tidbits of information, I like to share and just debate.
Well, if you guys want to help Anna get her house, head on over to patreon.com/techheads and help us get her house. But the stupid people who are on, I don't know, like TikTok or whatever, they have like the hype house or like the TikTok house. I don't know. I'm not in that world at all. But if we get enough money, guys, we'll get the tech house going, and you're all invited.
Oh yeah. Well, I can like I'm not gonna say I agree to that, but maybe we can like if Metaverse is still around, like we can make a house on Metaverse, so that would
Oh
probably be a
yeah.
bit more safe. I don't know,
Okay,
but we'll
we'll do
see
that.
if
That's the backup plan.
right. We'll see if the Facebook or Meta or if Zuckerberg is still alive. I mean, the guy is like bleeding millions, but hey, whatevs.
I saw the funniest picture this morning. It was just the one of the classic pictures of him in court or whatever, and he just looks, as robotic and lizardy as ever.
Like he's severely constipated or he's really like yeah, no, he always like that. I feel like those court images makes me it reminds me of or it makes him
This
look like
one.
he's holding in a shit. That's
So
the one.
on Photoshop battles, so the challenge was to make Mark Zuckerberg look more human-like.
Yeah.
And this was my favorite one, and it's called Zark Muckerberg.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him. Looks like a nice
He
guy.
actually looks like a friendlier guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Nice
got
beard and hair and everything.
the long hair is really helping, and the
Right.
smile. But geez, Zark Muckerberg, where are you?
Zark. Maybe he would have, taken Facebook to like in a different direction, but hey, whatevs. I feel like that's all I've said. That's all I've said today, and that's all I have to say about Facebook. I mean, I don't really use the app. I don't really care for it. Like React, yeah, React is pretty cool, but that's about it, So
I always forget they made React, and that kind of upsets me when I use React. I'm like, ugh.
I know. Did you remember we talked about the Google Fonts link, like the whole thing with like the I think Germany banned like the use of
Oh yeah,
Google Fonts links because of like tracking and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's so hard though, like when you're doing, web development at least, to get away from using any kind of like libraries or tools because Google and Facebook end up like owning all of them and Twitter owns Bootstrap, or they came up with
Mhm.
Bootstrap. So yeah, but they're so good.
I know they're so nice
I guess
and convenient.
I know. Yeah, they really are.
What about recommendations? Do we want to talk about those?
Yeah, sure. You gonna
Okay.
go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, this week I've been just down the rabbit hole in blockchain development. So I've been watching a bunch of YouTube, and I came across this guy named Gregory from Dapp University, and he has super good videos explaining everything, and he has really good like tutorials on Solidity, and he even builds a couple of projects on there, and like just completely in depth, like super good. And most mornings he does a live stream and just goes over like Web3 news and crypto and
Oh.
everything. And it's like, I don't know, like 30-ish, 45-ish minutes. And it's like him and this other
Nice.
guy. And they just go over the latest and greatest in Web3 and blockchain stuff. So I've been watching that most mornings, and it's been really informative and nice to be included in that and a little more up to speed on things. But I definitely recommend at least watching a few of his videos. Like his channel is just amazing. So Dapp University, like decentralized app, that's how he got the Dapp name, Dapp University. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I checked out his website. I watched a few because I think that he does have like an actual boot camp, but he's got like the free videos on YouTube, So I'm probably gonna go through those. And but yeah, so far I like the content that I've seen of his. And then I also saw the Free Code Camp had a really long video on blockchain development. It was like 16, 17 hours or something.
Yeah.
I started watching, I think I got through like the first 40 minutes, but I was watching it on the TV. So eventually he was, starting to do things that I would probably need my laptop for. So I need to pick up where I left off. But I'm excited to like start trying it out. I've
I think
just
that one's
been
with
a little lazy
Python.
these past few days. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it probably is with Python.
Yeah, because I want to watch that one, but I'm a little hesitant because I don't really want to do it with Python, but I'm still open to
Yeah.
like just watching it. So, but yeah, that one does look real. I mean, it has like almost 1 million or maybe over 1 million views by now. So I'm sure it's a really
Mm-hmm.
awesome video. Um,
Yeah.
what was I just gonna say? Oh yeah, so the Dapp University guy Gregory. So I clicked on like one of the links to like send me emails about the boot camp or whatever, and I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be like kind of a free like not a free course, but I just thought it was gonna be some sort of newsletter of some kind where like I get tips every day or whatever, and then I get an email Thursday or Friday morning, and it's a video from him to me.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
He sent it to you too, right?
yeah.
He recorded a personal message. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he was like, clearly on a run, and he just got done running. He's like, "Hey, Victor, it's Gregory from Dapp University," and I was like, "Whoa,
I know.
crazy!"
I thought it was cool. Added a personal touch, right?
Yeah, no, it's so smart. Like that's such a good idea. If you guys want us to do that, we'll say hi to you guys personally in patreon.com/techheads. So
Yeah.
it's something to think about, but the boot camp is definitely gonna be. I bet it's gonna be worth the money for somebody who has zero experience with like getting started in programming of any sort. But I feel like with us, like learning a new language is not hard. Like you can do it on the job, you know. So
Yeah.
it's not like otherworldly, but there are some large concepts in blockchain development that are kind of difficult to wrap your head around if you don't do proper research and really stick your head down and just learn it. But I feel like, you know, for somebody who just is like, you know what, I need one single source to tell me everything and like get me really into this, then the boot camp is probably going to do it for you. So yeah, if you're interested, yeah, check out Dapp University. Maybe if enough people sign up, maybe he'll give me a free pass on it, and Anna too. So help us out.
Right. Yeah, I recommend it too. Yeah, so for this week, I have a recommendation of an app called Blind. I think it's Blind and not Blind because I've seen this word being pronounced a different way. But anyway, it's an anonymous professional networking app where you can like have conversations or like consult with people that actually work for like big tech companies or any other big companies. And yeah, apparently, it says the app has been in news for multiple cases, noticeably when its anonymous surveys reveal the frank opinions of employees across industries. So I feel like it's also a bit of a whistleblower portal, or like you get to, find out what really happens. Like it's not all free food and free, gear and like 6-figure salaries. Like I'm sure that some of these companies also have, like their drawbacks, but yeah, I came across this, I don't know, it was just like, yesterday or today. And I thought that, I thought it was kind of cool because, you can kind of like search, I guess, by the company and see like what the consensus is. And yeah, like you can, I guess, even get some information about, like, let's say if you're applying to one of these companies, you can probably reach out to someone who has been verified. They do verify if you have an actual company address, like at google.com or whatever it is, if you work for Google. And I guess if you have some kind of like exchange with this person, it's verified that they do work there. So you can, so it's anonymous, and maybe if you have like some recruiting related questions, try Blind. You might actually get some feedback from someone who works there,
Right.
And they can, they can give you like the inside scoop. So I thought this was kind of cool.
This is really cool. I'm checking it out right now. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I wonder why it's been on the news. Like I just said, that was off of Wikipedia, but I'm sure that there's been some interesting, feedback that you got through this, like company internal surveys. That's funny.
Yeah, this is genius, honestly.
It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I get so mad when I see these, though, because then I'm like, I could have came up with this. Like, it's so simple. such a good idea. Oh man, I'm gonna check it out soon and see if I can copy it.
Yeah, I wish I could find like a really top rated one. Hotspots most viewed. Let's see. This one has 1 million. Oh,
Wow.
look at that. Oh wow. Okay, so this one is from 2018, but 2018 it's headed New Year gift curated list of top 75 leak code questions to save your time. So it looks like if you were trying to apply at Facebook, this person gave you a list of 75 leak code questions that are probably used during Facebook technical interviews. So
Wow.
yeah, this is kind of cool.
I like it because okay, so with networking and knowing somebody who works at a company, that's such a huge advantage, and it's really nice to have that. And I know life's not fair, whatever, yada yada yada, but like it puts quite a few more people on the same level playing field, and that they can get like a bit of insider information like that without it being too insider, to where it's like, oh, this is a rumor or whatever, but like there's, people backing it with their likes or whatever, and people posting it anonymously for no reason, just other than to be kind and share it with people who could maybe use it when applying to a big company that they want to work at. So
yeah,
I really like this idea a lot, and I don't know, I could see it getting to a point though where like people like from these big companies, they're gonna be like, oh, they shared that thing, oh, we'll just like take it out of our curriculum and we'll use something completely different. Like they changed their whole thing, so it's gonna like they're gonna make it so that they have to always keep up to date with that as well. So who knows? I don't know, that's just a thought.
Yeah, I think that it adds some like transparency, because like the process of like getting a job with one of these big tech companies, like I'm sure that it's a lot of things to consider, I mean, it's like compensation, it's, time off, it's like bonuses, stock options, like a lot of things. But you also want to, consider, quality of life. Like, if you take on a job that pays you, like 50 grand more a year or whatever, but you're going to be on call every weekend, then like, I feel like it's a lot of things that you can't get out of a job description, and a recruiter is not going to tell you flat out, like everything that like what your day to day is like. So this is kind of cool, because I feel like there's a lot that you can learn from someone who works there. But also there is, that one website, levels. I think FYI or something, FYI.levels, which is like a salary, website where you can see what the current like average is for like these big companies, whether, whatever software engineer level you're applying for, like you have an idea of what they're going for. But it doesn't really offer you like the platform for you to have this exchange with someone that actually works there, where it's, there is an anonymity, but you can ask questions, or you can like, share information if you're the one who works there, and you're kind of like trying to reach out to people who are applying. But yeah, I thought that this was pretty cool.
Yeah, good find. Very good. I'm going to check it out soon. Let's see. What was there anything else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Yeah, no other like big news that I can think of this week. Oh wait, was it last week that it was the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did you scan your QR code during the Coinbase commercial?
So I was watching it, and I was on the couch, and the couch was like really far away, and I was like, oh, I bet that's for Coinbase. And I was like, okay, I'll try. Like, and I was just too far away. My camera wouldn't catch on it. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll see soon enough. And sure enough, yeah, it was for Coinbase. But
right. And their site got crashed because there were too many hits and all that. I thought it was cool that they, it was, I feel like it was a little bit of a nod to The Office, the one episode with the
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
TD logo. So
I did see a video where like it hit the corner because I don't know, like the people I was with, like it was a commercial. They were going to get tacos or whatever. So it was just me and a couple other people in the living room. But I saw a video where it was like a full room of people watching the commercial as it was happening. And then it hit that corner perfectly. And everybody in the room like just threw their chips and like went crazy. And it was really cool to see.
Nice.
In that halftime show. Oh my God.
That was good.
Yes.
That was really good.
So good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one too. Yeah, the game was good too. There was a little bit of it wasn't like, the game is won like on the third quarter or whatever. It was really, it was a bit of a surprise, I think, but it was cool. It was a fun one. I think I saw some stats that came out of like the viewership, for the weekend. Apparently it did much better than last year because the NFL is trying to like target, younger folks to watch, the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Cause I mean, they want to keep the sport going and whatever, but
well, they
it was up
racism.
like considerably, but I was gonna say, I mean, maybe you guys, like you also have to like think about who you're doing your halftime show. A bunch of people just watch it for the halftime show and like the commercials, so I don't even understand football. So I was just watching it too.
True.
I mean, I do like it, like it's a huge spectacle, but yeah, there were like other things going on. It's like an event. It's not just a match.
Match, yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking so much crap about it. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it. It was a fun thing to see for sure. I prefer basketball, but I mean football's all right as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm excited for Formula One because there's the new like totally redesigned. They have like new regulations for the cars this year. So the teams have already started like unveiling their cars for the season. And I mean, the cars all look, amazing. Even before they looked amazing. The thing that matters the most is like when they start doing their, tests, and the first race is already next month. So I'm excited to see how that's going to be. And I'm looking forward to like an interesting season because that's how I usually spend, like my Sundays when there's a race, at least, is watching the race in the mornings. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. That's like definitely my sport of choice. It has been for the past few years, but I do watch soccer every now and then, or tennis. But F1 is really cool.
So if it's live though, and they do them, I'm sure they do them all over the world, right? So
yeah,
I'm sure the races are at the weirdest times for us,
They tend to be early for me, at least. Like it's not that bad because I am on the East Coast, but for you, yeah, it'll be like hella early. Most of the races that I've watched, they were like around 8 or 9 a.m. So for you, it's like 5, 6 a.m. So yeah, it's pretty early because a bunch of them take place. Yeah, like you said, they take place all over the world, but quite a couple of them are in Europe or in like in the Middle East, or I mean there is a race in like China and Japan as well. So there are like all sorts of like time zones, but for me it hasn't been that bad, which is nice, so I don't have to like wake up too early to watch live if I want to, because I feel like now that I subscribe to the F1 Reddit channel, like if I can even like pull up my phone without getting a race result ruined, unless I watch it live, with spoilers. So I also really like it. I don't mind like waking up early. I have to take the dog out anyway, so I'm mainly excited to see if these cars are going to be, really good this year with all the changes that they had to make. So, yeah.
I respect Formula One, and it's like the sexiest like racing sport I've ever seen. But I can't help but think about it as just a sophisticated NASCAR sometimes.
That is true. I feel like the circuits are more interesting because, it's not just a circle, but like it's still like you said, I think that it's the most sophisticated, single seater like racing, or even like racing sport there is, and it's very what's the word, crap, it's very exclusive, because there is only 10 teams and 2 drivers per team, so like there are drivers that have been there for a long time because they're good, they have sponsors and everything,
they're rich,
but some but some only last maybe 1 season or 2 seasons or whatever. And also some teams, like how many teams have gone under, like, or had to were bought out by like another team, so or by like another company, and then started like with a new name. So yeah, it's, there's like a lot that goes on other than the sport itself, but like I like the, the aspect of racing. I mean, I try to like understand, but those cars are like flat, like honestly, they are like comparable to spaceships. I don't even know how many components each car has. It's probably like hundreds of thousands components per car, and they're just like, they keep getting better and better, like it's just insane. And I mean, they can also drive at like 350 like kilometers per hour, which is, super fast too. But yeah, it's, I think it's more interesting than NASCAR because of like the, the different, the different circuits, and like you can actually see, like how talented some of the drivers are and all that. And then, it's also a sport where there's competition, so that's the cool thing about it. But
and
I feel like it's grown a lot.
They're not drinking Mountain Dew or Miller
They're
Lite.
drinking drinking champagne on the podium, and there's a lot of like glitz and glamour with it, that's for sure. But it's gained like a lot of popularity in the US too because of the Netflix series, and so the Netflix series comes out for the 2021 Formula One season comes out in March. So they have like some, behind the scenes stuff, but it tends to be super over dramatic. And obviously, with like the terrible editing that they do, just like those like Bravo shows where they're like, you said what? And it was like totally taken out of context. But it's still fun. I much prefer to watch the sport to like see, like I would die to go to like one of those factories and like,
is there one in Miami, or not a factory, but is there a race in Miami, or am I crazy?
It's gonna start this year. And I was just gonna say that I called up to when like ticket sales started to, when it opened up. And I was like, oh, okay, so how much is the ticket? I'm just looking for general admission, not VIP or anything, because I know those are expensive. She's like, yeah, right now we only have VIPs, and they're like $5,000 a person. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was like, are you kidding? I mean, I kind of imagine, because, Miami's already like an expensive place, but this is also like, like a very fancy, like expensive sport. So I figured it was gonna be ridiculously overpriced. But yeah, I mean, it would be super convenient for me, like I really wanted to. I called mainly to find out about the prices because I wanted to take my dad, and we know that we might have to, just get a hotel or whatever and stay there for the weekend, because usually those tickets are good for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The race is on Sunday, but you have the other events before. So so we wouldn't have to worry about travel. We can just drive down there, but it's so expensive. So maybe, like not this year, but I'll keep an eye out, like see if we can score, tickets like in the next few years. I think that they signed a contract where they're going to be doing that race for a couple of years. So
I only heard about it from, or I didn't hear, I don't want to even say I heard about it. I only had the idea because there's a level in Hitman where you are at a Formula One race, and it's in Miami. So I was like, oh, I guess this happens all the time. I don't know. So, and you basically,
good guess.
And you have to assassinate like one of the drivers and one of the guys who sponsors the driver. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's a fun level.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say good guess. Yeah, for sure, because it's starting this year. So, but I'm gonna be watching it from the comfort of my living room.
Nice. All right. Well, the year after that, patreon.com/techheads, we'll dip into that fund and we'll get a box for the tech heads.
Damn, can you imagine? That'd be fun.
I bet by then there's going to be like a metaverse sort of way to spectate it or whatever, you know?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
but you need that smell of burning rubber.
I was gonna say you're gonna miss like all those olfactory like sensory overloads that you get from the burning tire, just everything. Yeah, that's not gonna be there. But hey, I mean, I guess you can, light some burning rubber incense and be on your way.
I know, right? That'll be cheaper.
Yeah, and get some champagne. Last night I just saw a comedian, Andrew Santino, like let's see, like 5 minutes away from here, like super close, super awesome venue.
Okay.
And he was really funny. He does a couple different podcasts, and that's why I heard about him. So when I saw that he was coming to Portland, I was like, oh, why not? I'll roll solo to this comedy show. And the venue was in an old high school. And it's so cool because they have like bars and offices in this old high school. It's not obviously for students anymore. And then the auditorium is the venue. And I think it holds like, I don't know, 400 or 500 people. And I was like, man, like I haven't been around this many people in years. So this is going to be super weird. But it was a sold out show according to everything I saw. But I from what I could tell, so I was like third row from the stage. I was really close. There was nobody in my row. I was the only one. So I looked like a douchebag that bought the whole row so I didn't have to be around anybody for COVID. But I was not complaining. It was so nice. I just got to like kick back and have my arms out and just like do the little like beer gut chuckle. It's like,
Nice.
Yeah, he was super funny.
He funny? Oh, okay, good.
He was so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he killed it. And one of his like friends or whatever is another podcaster. He's also coming to town really soon. I'm kind of thinking about going now because I really enjoyed that show because I've never been to see live comedy. So that was it was definitely not life changing. I don't want to say that's like so cliche, but it was so cool just to like see that. I could just be saying that because I haven't been to any live thing. I haven't been to see anything live since we saw Absinthe in Vegas.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna say, that was probably my last time too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Oh, actually, we're gonna see Coldplay in the summer. Sam got us tickets for Christmas, and we're going to Tampa, to see them in June, I think. So I'm so excited because I've always wanted to see them live. Yeah,
I've heard it's like life changing going to see them live, so that'll be cool.
I hope, especially because now apparently they're going to call it quits. Like the band will stop, playing together in the next couple of years. So I was like, oh my gosh, please.
Yeah, you got to go.
This is our last chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
That's not true though. You know how all those people are. They're like, oh, we're back together. Like Elton John, whenever he was like, this is the last tour, and then he's like, oh, now this is the last tour.
One more. Yeah, right. This is the real farewell tour.
Or like Jonas Brothers are back together. Like these people always get back together unless like something stupid, crazy happened,
Right.
Yeah. But on that note, I think time for Tech Heads to sign off. We went over a little bit, but hey, we'll do it for you guys anytime. So, thank you. If you made it this far, thank you for making it this far and listening. Like I've said before, patreon.com/techheads if you want to support us. We do early releases of every episode. We release them like 4 days early. We also put the show notes there so you can follow along and see like specific coding examples if we're going over something a little more heavy that might need a visual example. It might be easier. We have links to all of our resources, all the news and stuff that we put in. You also get to see just like funny little notes that I make for myself or that Anna makes for herself. So Yeah, that it's a fun time. We really like doing it. We also want to do more with it soon, but we have to get the backing on it. So please, just like, if you want to, I don't want to say please do it because that's stupid. We really don't need it. But, if you're feeling extra supportive today, maybe consider doing $5. That's I think that's the minimum, but maybe you can, I don't know, maybe you can just donate $1 or whatever. I don't know if that's allowed, but maybe you can. If you can, you could be the test subject and let us know if it worked. So, yeah.
There you go.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Tech heads out.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.